Man, what is happening, my YouTube family? Of course, it is your boy B New coming at you this Thursday morning. First and foremost, as always, positive vibes and positive vibrations and energies, blessings to everybody who may be listening. I hope you have a great day and a great rest of your week. So now that that is all out of the way, of course, we know we got a lot to get to. Actually, it's so much that we need to divulge that I really don't know where to begin. But I think where I really want to begin is just so much. And I know we can focus on LeBron's three. We can focus on, the foul at Draymond Green to LeBron James' eye. It's just so many different things that we could talk about. But there were some very telling things to me in this game. But before I get into those telling things, I do want to say this. I know on Tuesday, I believe it was, on Tuesday, I told everybody, what did I tell you? I said, take your money and bet the Lakers. I said, take your money and bet the Lakers in the straight up. I said, don't take the points. I said, don't fall in no sucker bet for the points. I said, because if you take the points, you will lose. And the points was the Lakers minus the 7 because they had the Lakers as a 7-point favorite. But with all that being said, I said take the straight up, and that's what happened. And to think that I wasn't just a tad bit nervous while watching that game, I would say no, because ultimately I felt like the Lakers were going to come out in the second half and turn up the defensive intensity and do what they needed to do to go ahead and win that game. And that is exactly what they did. But the thing is that you got to give credit where credit is due, and I do want to focus on that as well. Draymond Green played a hell of a game, and I know a lot of people roasted Draymond recently for him saying he's the greatest defender of all time. I would say definitely he is not the greatest defender of all time, but I will say, he is one of the all-time great defenders just because of his ability to be able to guard a person like Anthony Davis. I mean, if you just think about that, he pretty much was shutting Anthony Davis down all the first half. And Anthony Davis was pretty much shooting terrible. And LeBron James, for that matter, was blowing a lot of crib shots right there close to the rim. And that was due to the defensive game planning of course, Steve Kerr. And, speaking of Steve Kerr, that just another thing that I did want to touch on is just how bad or how much he outcoached Frank Vogel. And that's part of the surprise to me that I thought, that's not a surprise to me, but there were some surprises to me that Vogel made that to me were inexplicable. You're going down by so many points. However, you don't substitute players in who can help the team in this situation. And I know, of course, y'all know I'm a fan of Marc Gasol. And the thing about this is, if you go back and look at it, Marc Gasol with Anthony Davis has the highest plus net rating this year. Anthony Davis plays his best basketball when he's paired with Marc Gasol. And let's not forget the Lakers, and when I spoke in the video on Tuesday, I said how the Lakers had smacked Golden State around the past 2 times. Well, those 2 times, Marc Gasol was the starting center. We had not yet acquired Andre Drummond. And this is no knock to Andre Drummond, but if you heard continuously through the broadcast, you heard Stan Van Gundy, Jeff Van Gundy, whichever one of them Van Gundy boys, you heard him continually keep saying, well, when Anthony Davis is at the 5, now there's floor spacing. Now that's what the Lakers need, because when you had a traditional center in, i.e. Drummond, then it's going to clog up the space. It's going to clog up the floor. It's not going to spread you out. You're not surrounding them by shooters, because he's not a shooter, most definitely. And then you just tend to clog up space, and then that leaves LeBron James no room to operate in the paint when he goes to drive, unless he's dishing it off to Drummond. But they were shutting that down. The Golden State played extremely well defense, where they would not allow any defensive, where they would not allow any backdoor cuts and just easy points for the Lakers. They made them have to work for every single thing that they got. And Draymond Green played hell of defense on Anthony Davis. But when you don't put in a player like a Marc Gasol, when you had the opportunity to, what you need to understand is you relegated Anthony Davis into a perimeter player when you have Andre Drummond out here. So you got Andre Drummond, and then that's not enough room in the paint to operate for both him and Anthony Davis. And then that relegates Anthony Davis to go out and play perimeter, and his touch was not there. Clearly, his perimeter game was not there. And then not only that, we all know when Marc Gasol is in the game, he has an opportunity to not only space the floor, but he plays great in that high screen, to where he's a great screener to get LeBron free with shots running towards the rim. He's also a great screener to allow multiple screens for other shooters like the KCP to get open. And not only that, he is a great passer, as we all know. So if he was playing in the high post as a great passer, at least when LeBron James was off the floor, why not get AD and Marc Gasol a crack at it? Whereas when LeBron James was off the floor, you give Andre Drummond and AD a crack at it, and then you end up with a negative rating. So the point is, Frank Vogel, as always, just does not seem to get his rotations right. And thankfully, his poor coaching effort did not cost the Lakers a victory last night. But I mean, he didn't even play Ben McLemore. And this is the thing. Ben McLemore is capable of hitting open threes. I know him and LeBron hadn't had a lot of playing time together, but down the stretch of the season, Ben McLemore was getting, some quality minutes to where he could perform. I mean, I know you were down, but are you that scared? I mean, you could at least put him in let him get 8 to 10 minutes, get him some reps to build his confidence. And I mean, there's some other things I want to touch on too towards the end of the game that also happened. But back to the Marc Gasol thing is, Marc Gasol has been playoff tested. Marc Gasol is a champion. Marc Gasol won a ring with Toronto, even though, Kevin Durant was injured. I don't think he would have that ring if Golden State was fully healthy. I still think that they would have beat the Toronto Raptors. Let me put that on the record. But, with that being said, he's still playoff tested. And how many years did Marc Gasol play? 7 straight years in the playoffs for the Memphis Grizzlies in the Western Conference. So he's very battle tested, having series against the Clippers, so many series against Tim Duncan and the Spurs. And you just have to realize against those OKC teams, when he was going against Adams and I forget the other guy's name, but OKC had a very formidable front court and even Ibaka. But at the end of the day, when you have a player that's as tested as Marc Gasol is, who is skilled as Marc Gasol is, and let's not forget, Laker fans, like I said, what was the Lakers' record before Anthony Davis went down when Marc Gasol was the starting center? And everybody wants to say, well, Marc Gasol only gets you 5 points a game, he only gets you 7 points a game. Who cares? It's not what he does as far as points. We saw when he came in after Drummond went down and he came back, how well he was playing and how he spaced the floor. And how he is a positive, like a plus 20 with Anthony Davis and him are paired together. It's a ridiculous number. I'm going to go back and pull it up, what the numbers is with Andre Drummond and Anthony Davis paired compared to Marc Gasol. And I'm not saying let him be the starter, but damn, at least give him some playing time. You went to Montrezl Harrell and you pulled him so quick because he was getting bodied around. And my bad for disrespecting Looney. The other day, I said you must be Looney if you thought Looney. Man, Golden State looked better with Looney than Oubre, to be honest. Looney had 13 rebounds. He was very active on the glass, getting extra opportunities for the Golden State Warriors. I mean, you can't say enough about how he played. But the thing about it is, back to Frank Vogel's coaching. How do you continuously not know how to rotate your players? And I know Markieff Morris, I wasn't mad about him not getting minutes. But while I am talking about Vogel in that regard, I do want to say, big props to him for bringing in Wesley Matthews. And I know I've come for Wesley Matthews a couple of times during the season. But one thing I've always said, and I continue to say, Wes Matthews plays superb defense. He knows how to play defense without fouling. He knows how to take a charge. He really knows how to get up into players and make them very uncomfortable. He did a great job once he came into the game on Wiggins. Wiggins was having an excellent game. He was having an excellent game up until the point Wes Matthews came in and really put the clamps down on Wiggins. You didn't hear a lot from them in the second half. And that was one of the glaring things. I said there were a couple of glaring things. One of the glaring things was, of course, Marc Gasol getting a DNP, not being able to play. I think that was huge. I think if Marc Gasol plays, the Lakers easily win by double digits, just to be honest. And I'm not saying, oh, Marc Gasol is this and that. I mean, please understand, you casuals who might not understand, please understand that there's so much more to basketball than scoring and numbers and everything else that he brings. But also, not saying, oh, well, LeBron can do it by, nobody can do it by themselves. And I'm going to continue to preach this like I always have. The NBA is all about matchups. It's all about matchups. And Golden State had a perfect scheme defensively of how they were going to shut down the Lakers. They decided just to play a lot of one-on-one defense with Draymond Green on Anthony Davis. On a lot of plays, they allowed Wiggins to take that one-on-one with LeBron. In most cases, LeBron did find a way to score when he did take it one-on-one. But when they were, in fact, doubling on LeBron, their ball rotation was excellent when it was. So the thing about that is LeBron knew how to pass to the extra man, as he always does when the double team did come. But Golden State did an excellent job of giving them different looks and bringing the double team from different positions on the floor, which was a testament to Steve Kerr, as I'm going to continue to say. But with all that being said, another thing that I said that was very glaring, another very glaring thing was Caruso. Caruso played excellent defense. He really got up into Steph Curry, and he really bothered Steph Curry. And as you can see, Coach Vogel, that's another thing I do have to give him credit for, not only bringing in Wes Matthews, but him acknowledging that Steph Curry was going to pretty much have his way with Dennis Schroeder, like he had been all game. It seems like Dennis was just a step behind Steph for the most part, and we know Steph is a phenomenal player. He's been having a great year. But Caruso really knows how to play some great defense. And at the end, it was Caruso who got the final minutes of the game. And of course, it was Anthony Davis in the 5 spot, and no Andre Drummond at the end. So at least Frank Vogel recognized that much and was able to make those adjustments, which was able to help the Lakers win the game. But that was a very telling sign to me that Caruso was the one who finished the game. Not saying Dennis didn't come up big. He did hit 1 3, but I mean, Dennis was 1 out of 6 from threes, which, if I'm not mistaken, is like 14 to 15%. So when you shoot 1 out of 6 from 3, that's terrible. And he did hit the one big 3 towards the end, which was a great shot on the pass from LeBron on the handoff pass. But Caruso was 2 out of 3 from 3-point range, and he was not shying away from shooting the 3-pointers on open shots, not just firing them up for no reason. And he actually, I think, and like I said, that stint when Dennis Schroeder missed all those games really helped Caruso develop his confidence by him playing as the starting point guard. So, that's something to think about in the offseason. We know Dennis did turn down the money that the Lakers tried to offer him, the $18-19 million a year it was, even though he wanted over $20 million a year. He wants to test his free agency. Hey, that's on him. If that's something he wants to do, then by all means let him do that. But the Lakers aren't playing Caruso that much. I'm not saying that he could be the Lakers starting point guard, but as much as LeBron James plays point forward and is a ball handler, it's not out of the realm of possibility. And then they would actually have plenty of money to sign Andre Drummond. But to be totally honest, the way Andre is playing, I just think it doesn't really fit the Lakers' philosophy in the style of play of the Western Conference and the way they run and gun and space the floor. Now, if you was giving it to Dre on the block every time, then that's something different. And maybe, if they mesh together to look a little bit better. But I just don't think the Lakers should empty the piggy bank for Andre Drummond because, he was making a lot of money before his buyout. I want to say upward towards 27, 28, maybe $30 million a year. And that's, with LeBron making his max and AD making his max, you got another room for a max player. And I don't think he deserves the max player money. Plus, you want to keep Dennis. So that's going to be something we're going to talk a whole lot more about as the season winds down and closes. We don't want to focus too much on that. I do want to say, let's hope that Dennis does not get into, any sort of, let's say Dennis doesn't get into, not an attitude problem, but let's just say confidence issues with him not being able to close out the game and coach actually calling upon Caruso to finish out the game. So let's just hope that doesn't hurt any kind of team chemistry or doesn't hurt Caruso's confidence at all, because that's something that may very well happen sometimes that you have. So now that I touched on those two very glaring things, with Marc Gasol not getting any playing time and Caruso finishing out the game playing the defense, and the absence of a Ben McLemore, who is a shooter that you would need because the Lakers offense was atrocious when they only scored 35 points. But luckily, the Lakers defense, they had 15 steals and 7 blocks, which, if it was not for their defense, they would definitely not have been in the game. But when they did those, even though the rebounding was about even, the Lakers still had a lot more opportunities because they got up 12 or 13 more shots, if I'm not mistaken, than Golden State got up. And it wasn't because of boards and extra opportunities and offensive rebounds. It was more so because they forced those 20 turnovers. And when they forced all those turnovers they were definitely getting points off turnovers. If I'm not mistaken, they got like 22 points off turnovers, which is very good, especially when those turnovers lead to fast break points. I know KCP had a steal that led to a fast break. I know LeBron was very active in the passing lanes, getting his hands up, and had some deflections that led to some fast breaks. So, if the Lakers can play the lockdown defense like they did in the second half, that's why I'm not concerned of them losing any ball games, because of the defense that I know that they're capable of. And when you play lockdown defense, that's when you actually go out and win basketball games. So I'm really not concerned about the Lakers not playing defense. That doesn't concern me. I'm more concerned about the offensive end. LeBron James said he felt healthy. He looked pretty healthy for the most part. I just think Golden State came out with a very good defensive scheme in order to take a lot of things away from LeBron James. So I'm sure the Phoenix Suns were sitting back taking notes on some of those things, because a lot of people thought it was going to be a blowout. But like I said, this was not the same exact team. And I know Marc Gasol is not going to change everything, but also Golden State has been playing well as of late. Golden State has been playing outstanding. And with Golden State playing so well, we knew it was going to be a struggle. That's why I said don't put your money on the points, y'all. Just play it on the straight up, even though you might not win as much in the straight up if you choose to gamble. If you choose to gamble, you don't necessarily have to, but sometimes it just make it a little more interesting if you just add a little bit of money to it. But anyway, back to the end of the game. Let's talk about that a little bit. So I thought it was very telling that LeBron was the one who hit that shot in Steph Curry's face. And I can't remember if it was KCP who had the ball and he was trying to go up and he just really didn't have a shot. And he knew the shot clock was winding down. So of course he could have went up with the shot. But instead, he kicks it back to LeBron James. and puts him in a very uncompromising situation as far as the shot clock winding down. So LeBron didn't have any choice but to shoot at this point. And something that kind of upset me on the broadcast after the game was Stephen A. Smith saying that it was luck. Now, Stephen A. Smith, you can say it's luck all you want to, but the man caught the ball. He squared up. He shot the ball. He kept his follow-through up, which you was taught to do, and he watched the ball sink down. And I know LeBron, I had to be hurting, and everybody's tried to say, he was faking or whatnot. But this is the thing, and this is just my personal opinion. He took contact to the head. To me, now I know people gonna say, "Oh, B knew you tripping" or whatever, but I'm just telling you by the rules of today's game is if you have contact to the head and it's a non-basketball play, or if there's a winding up and coming down, then that is considered a flagrant foul. So this is all I'm trying to tell you is LeBron is going to the basket. Draymond Green, if you're going straight up, this is straight up. You're going straight up. LeBron James did not jump into you. Your hands came down into his face. That is not going for the basketball. This is going straight up. You did not go straight up. You went straight down towards his face and hit him in the face, preventing him from making that shot. So had Draymond Green not blasted LeBron in his face like that, then I'm pretty sure that would have been an and one play. And you would have been talking about 3 points for the Lakers. But it was not to be. They did not call it a flagrant. Jeff Van Gundy thought it was going to be a flagrant. The broadcasters thought it was going to be a flagrant. The referee, I think retired Jabby, who was watching this from Secaucus, New Jersey, he said that it would not be. Ultimately, he was right. I thought that it would have been. And actually, I know y'all going to beat me up for it. I thought that it should have been. Even though I don't care if it wasn't, because I don't want a flagrant foul to decide the game, but I do want consistency out of the referees and the association. So I'm pretty sure they probably had some people in their ear back in Secaucus telling them, hey, we cannot decide a game like this and get them 2 shots and the ball back. And then even flagrant one or potentially had Draymond Green ejected, as he had already had one technical. I'm not sure if you get another flagrant, is that an automatic ejection if you've already had a technical in the game? I am not sure. But that's something maybe if y'all can look that up, find that out for me, put it in the comments. If anybody knows, that'll be good to know going forward. But another thing I learned that I didn't know was that none of these stats count because this is not a game. This is not a playoff and it's not a regular season game. So you're saying none of the stats count. So LeBron triple-dub didn't count. His shot didn't count. Like, that's weird to me. NBA, to me, I think it should be considered part of a playoff. I mean, you just put it down in the statistical book as a one-game playoff. It's not that hard. I mean, Jeff Van Gundy said, "Oh, I solved it just like that." Me too. I mean, it's ridiculous. Do they get paid for the game? I'm sure they do. Did we watch it? Did it happen? Are we in the Matrix? That's a whole story for another day, y'all. But I'm just saying, man. So then you're going to be mad at LeBron because he gets obviously poked in his face hard. I want any one of y'all clowns. I want anybody out here to sit up here and not just take a finger to your eye, but take while you're jumping through the air and somebody else is coming down at the same time. I don't know if that's whatever force you're talking about here. I don't want to get into too much science of it, but that's like that's like a head-on collision. You understand what I'm saying? So that's him coming through the air and that coming down at the same time. That's a hell of a hit to the eye. Now to lay there and do all the things he did, I know everybody gonna say, oh, he drama, whatever. But at the end of the day, I remember Tony Allen taking a hit to the head and rolling around on the floor against Golden State in the playoffs a few years ago and sold a flagrant. So I'm not saying that you should sell this or sell that, but I think LeBron James was trying to get 2 things accomplished. And those 2 things that LeBron James was trying to get accomplished was have him look at it to review it for a flagrant, to make sure that it's a possible flagrant, and then this will have me a chance to help my eye feel better and give me chance, because they only had one timeout and they couldn't afford to take a timeout, and LeBron definitely did not need to come out of that game. So by him staying down for a little while, that allowed him to recover as far as his eye, and then of course that allowed them to review it, which once they reviewed it, that allowed them to LeBron to get a little more rest. And I know LeBron, man, said he saw 3 rims. I'm not sure if I necessarily believe that he saw 3 rims and aimed at the middle. I think LeBron may be a part of what you call this, the Mandela effect, or whatever you want to call it. And he remembered that from Rocky, because I reference Rocky a lot. In these videos I will reference Rocky a lot, and y'all all know that. I don't know if you remember in Rocky 4 when he was taking a beating by the Russian. After he was taking a beating by the Russian, what happened? He said, I see 3 of them. I see 3 of them. And what did they say? Hit the one in the middle. Hit the one in the middle. So maybe LeBron got that from, you're a Rocky fan too, and said the same thing. Because I cannot possibly believe that he saw 3 ribs out there. I think LeBron just loved to add some little folklore to what he did, because it was a hell of a shot that he hit. And by no means do I think it's luck, because that's something that he's been practicing on a lot, taking half-court shots, taking the 30-foot shots, taking longer shots. That's something that he's always done. And that's not always done, but in the latter part of his career that he's been doing. So don't sit up there and call it luck. The time was winding down. It's clutch. How dare Stephen A. Smith get up on TV and say that it's a luck shot? Man, come on now. Tell me what was lucky about it. If he squared up, he took the shot, and he followed through on the shot. Please tell me how it was luck, Stephen A. I guarantee if Kevin Durant or Steph Curry or anybody else would have hit the damn shot, nobody would have been out here saying that it's luck. Nobody. So anyway, that's my take on the game. But I did want to say, of course, the Memphis Grizzlies took care of business against San Antonio like I said they would. I'm sorry I was wrong on the East bracket, y'all. That's why I didn't really touch on it too much, because I hadn't watched a lot of that Eastern Conference basketball, especially at the bottom tier teams like Indiana. And with them missing Sabonis, the way they was able to do what they did to come back and take that. The Wizards against the Pacers tonight, who knows? But at this point, who cares? Because whoever wins is going to get an early exit by the number 1 seed of the Eastern Conference in the Philadelphia 76ers. So at the end of the day, it does not matter. It was interesting if the Wizards would have got a chance to play the Nets in that 2-7 spot. That would have been more fun to watch, but it was not meant to be. So don't want to touch on that too much. But I will touch on what Memphis was able to do last night. And now Memphis will be taking on Golden State tomorrow night. And I know as much as the NBA wants Golden State in that game, I know Golden State beat Memphis to be in the chance to play the Lakers instead of them last week. But at the end of the day, I think Memphis has learned their lesson, and it's going to be their second time playing them in a week, and that they're going to be prepared for them. Remember, Dylan Brooks did foul out with like 6 or 7 minutes to go in that game, and he had played excellent defense shutting down Steph Curry. So we'll see if he's able to duplicate that. But that's something we can talk about more tomorrow. But at the end of the day, LeBron James hit a great shot, just adding more to his legacy of what he was able to do. It's not going to be many nights where Dennis Schroeder, Anthony Davis, and LeBron James are going to be that broke. I don't know if there's a little bit of jitters coming out or whatever it was, but they finally got settled down and playing defensive basketball the way that they are capable of doing. And with that being said, they have a few days off. I would imagine that they will be taking on the Phoenix Suns Sunday. I'm going to go ahead and call that Lakers in 6. I want to say 5, but I just don't think Chris Paul is going to go out like that. So Lakers in 6, y'all. And as always, this is your boy B New. I'm saying right on to the real, and much love to the haters. I'm out.